that dairy is something which kind of like replaces a lot of the protein requirement for people. And in India, where we started this project, it's actually very crucial. But now we realize that even in Asia, we need to have this. So, okay, let me just quickly.
The dairy industry in Asia
is relatively
underdeveloped.
What's the problem you're solving?
Infrastructure resulting in a lack of good quality, affordable milk in most countries in this region. A typical dairy farm in this region is low in technology and is labor intensive. On a daily basis, the farmers generally milk their cows by hand, transfer the milk to the jars, transport the milk unchilled to the traders and middlemen, who then deliver the milk to the plants, which process and package the milk. Some of the key issues are disconnect between herd management and milk processing, lack of continuous cold chain infrastructure with poor quality control processes, resulting in poor quality milk not suitable for human consumption. Unnati Holdings has implemented the solution to produce good quality, fresh milk and making it affordable to all. The blockchain-enabled process, currently being developed with a dairy farm in Maharashtra, India, offers a multi-directionally integrated farm-to-fridge solution. From the herd management to milk production and storage, processing, pasteurization, packaging, and distribution to the outlets, everything is integrated to ensure quality and authenticity of the milk products. In our ecosystem, data will be recorded into the blockchain and embedded in a QR code to help verify product authenticity and quality. Together with a blockchain-enabled mobile app that rewards its users, this will power the demand for Unnati's products. Our mobile app and wallet has functionalities that will facilitate peer-to-peer transactions, QR code product authentication, earn witnessing rewards, and much more. Dairy is growing in its importance, especially in the developing world. Unnati seeks to make a significant social impact by making good quality, affordable milk accessible to all. Invest with us in MooTokens. Make a difference and impact millions around the world.
So one of the key things that you would have taken away from Walter's presentation is that this provenance of any food produce that is produced is important. You need to know where it comes from and how it's produced and all that. So that's precisely what we are tackling, because, and especially in this vertical of dairy. As you saw earlier, typically in the Asian context or the developing economies of Asia Pacific region, they are all handled by small scale farmers. So how they handle the milk and how the middleman processes it and how eventually it gets to the stores, there's no proper control. And once the middleman gets in and they start adulterating it and all that, at the end the result is that the product is actually by Western standard is not fit for human consumption. But unfortunately most of these economies, that's what they have to live with. So I'm going to show you some pictures. We are a traditional business. So when we started raising funds and all that, and with this blockchain, we decided that blockchain can be used to make sure that this provenance is there, so that we can, the whole thing about blockchain is that you can have data that can be embedded in codes, and eventually the consumer can verify. Today, all you have is barcodes in products, but barcodes are very static. They tell you when the product was produced and they tell you the expiry date, but they don't tell you the journey that it took. Along the way, if something went wrong, you don't know. But in the blockchain scenario with technology, with IoT devices, you can have this as a more dynamic kind of a code, so that if there was a breakdown, say somewhere between when it was produced and when it was before it reached the marketplace, if there's a breakdown in the vehicle and if the temperature of the milk went up to room temperature and actually it has spoiled, you will get to know that, because an IoT device in the truck can actually write that onto the blockchain. Because when you buy the milk in the supermarket or something, you only take it and it's chilled, right? You don't know that somewhere along the line for 4 hours it was sitting in the sun somewhere and it's actually got spoiled. That's the issues. So what we are raising is funds to finish up the farm in India and also to do similar farms in Asia, beginning with Malaysia and Indonesia and Myanmar and Thailand and all that. So each farm requires about $20-something million to do it. The one in India requires about another $6 more million to finish it. So that's why we've got bond, we've got equity, and then you guys are here interested about ICOs and all that, so we've got ICO offering. Okay, I'm not going to dwell too much into the details of it. I'm just going to tell you a bit more about the project and why you should get involved. Okay, that is the usage of fund. Basically, we need about $1.5 million to complete the infrastructure, $4.5 million to buy cows. Basically, we are at the stage now where we've got enough infrastructure to handle 1,000 cows. The farm in India can handle 2,500 cows. We've got enough to handle 1,000 cows. We've got about 150 cows with which we tested the whole system. So we have commissioned all the equipment and everything. We've got end-to-end production facility all ready. We just need to ramp up the herd size so that we can produce our milk. Okay. This is a founder. His name is Vijay Kulkarni. He's actually a farmer by birth, but he was a certified professional accountant by qualification. And the whole idea was seized when he was working in the Middle East, when he realized that in the Saudi king threw a lot of money at consultants and established one of the best dairy farms. One of the most high quality milk is produced from these dairy farms, farms like Al Marai or Al Safi in Saudi Arabia. That's when he began to realize that, hey, if they can do this with Western cows, with cows which need supposedly cold climate, and if they can do it in the desert, why can't we do it in India and provide the same quality of milk for the people of India? Okay, I don't want to go too much into it, but coming from his background, you need to understand why he wanted to do it for the people of India. Because I think I still have some statistics in these slides, where you realize that India has got one of the most malnourished people in the world. Okay, where almost 3,000 children are dying every day because of malnourishment. So he wanted to solve that problem, and that's why the genesis of this whole program started there. And for 23 years, this has been his dream and his goal to try and establish this. 5.5 years ago, we joined him. Okay, that's when the funds came in and we started building this farm. Okay, Dato Ramesh is another partner of ours. He was an ASEAN scholar. He has got a lot of credentials to his name. He was one of the youngest guys we made partner in PricewaterhouseCoopers before he became PricewaterhouseCoopers. Okay, and I got to know him when he came to Singapore to study in Raffles Junior College and as a scholar. Okay, the market potential and growth. Dairy is actually a huge market. In any investment or anything that you want to get into. Okay, I presume most of you all here are interested in the investment aspect. When you want to invest in something, you want to make sure that you want to get into a market which has got a huge growth potential. Am I right? You want to make sure that there's potential. These are statistics for dairy. It was 336 billion in 2014. It's expected to be about 442 billion by 2019. Some other data says that it's going to be $450 billion by 2020. And the good news is the bulk of this growth comes from this region, the Asia Pacific region, the developing economies. 63% to be exact. Okay. Now you'll be wondering, the dairy market is so huge, and today it's completely controlled by the Western world, by Australasia, which is New Zealand and Australia and all that, by Canada, Europe and everything. In Asia, we don't get good quality milk. Now I keep telling you all, good quality milk, affordable prices. You'll be wondering, I can go to the supermarket and buy 1 liter of milk for $3. That's affordable. Am I right? Am I right? Most of you will be thinking, what are you talking about? How is milk not affordable? Because I can go to the supermarket and buy for $3. Right? But you'll be shocked if I told you that milk that you're buying in the supermarket, even in Singapore, is not fresh milk. It is reconstituted powdered milk. And there's a huge benefit of drinking really fresh milk as opposed to reconstituted powdered milk with all sorts of additives in it. Okay? So, the dairy industry in India alone is growing about 16% per year. Is that a huge enough growth for anyone to invest in? If it's 16% compound annual growth rate, and that's the Indian market. And if you look at it, at the numbers closely, Indian market alone is about $150 billion, which is 1/3 of the world's market, and it's still growing. So that's the kind of potential we're talking about. What about the rest of the region? Okay, like in Malaysia and Indonesia. In Malaysia, 95% of the milk that they use in Malaysia to produce anything from ice cream to cheese and everything is imported. They're only 5% self-sufficient. Okay, they imported about $797 million worth of milk product. So that's also another huge market. And Malaysia is growing at about 5% compound annual growth rate. Okay, in Malaysia. Indonesia is also something similar. It is growing at about 8%. The market is worth about 1.38, the 318 billion. Yeah. What's happening in this region is that most of us in the developing economy, if you use the statistics of Malaysia and Indonesia, they are only drinking about 18 to 19 liters per capita of milk. Why is that significant? Because for protein requirement for you, you should be drinking about 80 to 90 liters. That's what the Westerners are drinking. That's why they're bigger size than the Asians. That you need to have good nutrition, you need to have good protein. One of the easiest form of getting this protein in is through milk. Okay? Malaysian government, even the ex-Prime Minister once said that he wants to push the people in Malaysia to consume about 50 liters per capita. That means per person drinking per year 50 liters of milk, when they are actually drinking about 19 liters now. So if you factor all of that in, you realize that the growth will be even much more than this. Okay? Now in India alone, the place where this original farm was set up, if you look at this, for those of you who don't know, the farm is in a place called Solapur, which is in Maharashtra, which is the middle belt. It's not the north, it's not the south. Okay? And in the place where we are actually situated, the farm that we have set up will have 2,500 cows producing about 50,000 liters. That is our model. Every farm will have about 2,500 cows producing about 50,000 liters of milk. You would think that's big, but actually that's a drop in the ocean for India. Because if you look at that region alone, 4 states, Mumbai, Pune, Solapur and Hyderabad alone, their consumption is 9.7 million liters per day. Even if I set up 5 farms in this region, one in each of the capital city plus the farm that we've got, we can only produce 250,000 liters. So that's where we are at. Okay? And by doing that, again, these slides are to highlight to you that actually the demand is huge. Our initial intention, or my founder's initial intention, was to do this in India and change the way milk is produced in India so that we can make a difference. Why? Because it is really needed there. But today, we've realized that it's also needed in the rest of Asia. Okay? Honestly, if we just squatted there alone for the next 10 years or 100 years, we will not be able to satisfy the demand. But if we just stayed there, then we wouldn't address the need for the people of the rest of Asia. Now, our focus, because we come from this side of the world, from Singapore and Malaysia and all that, we decided that we also want to do something here. Okay? Now, we've already got expressions of interest that people want to join us and do this kind of similar kind of a farm in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Myanmar, and the latest one that came in was from the King of Bhutan. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity for us to do this. That's why we need to raise a lot more money. Right? Now, our vision is to produce the highest quality milk, as I told you all, and bring it to the market at affordable prices. Okay. What we have is state-of-the-art automated farm, okay, with the latest technology. We focus on animal breeding, milk production, processing and marketing. Now, why I'm stating that is because today in the developing economies, people see animal husbandry and milk production as separate from the packaging part of it, and that's where the disconnect is. Okay. We've realized that in order to control the quality of the milk, you've got to control end-to-end processes. Okay? And only when you control end-to-end processes, from the time, the way the animals are treated and how they are handled, what they are fed, then you can control the quality of milk, and then you can control how they are processed and delivered to the market. Okay? And besides that, in order to keep the cost down and also to be environmentally friendly, we also focus on downstream implementation of processing the manure to produce biogas and power generation. Okay, all this comes together so that we can keep the cost of the milk down. Okay? These are all the infrastructure that's already in that farm in Javali. Okay, already we've invested about $8.5 million into the infrastructure. We need another $6 million to complete everything else, including the biogas generators and all that. Okay. A quick video of the...
There is now a cow milking time. The cows in the farm are just going to move.
This is actually the infrastructure we already have in Javali. Okay, in India. We've already completed 6 sheds, all the milking infrastructure, everything is there. We are now, all we need is extra cows to make full use of the facility we have set up.
The cows are ready. That's a milking parlor in operation.
Okay. All of this is already in place.
Really going, as you said.
A lot of people, when we speak to them, they get a bit shocked then when they look at this facility, because nobody in India has got a facility like this with the latest state-of-the-art technology from Israel. How do you make them go in? So you can see now, they went on their own. I'll tell you in a short while how. Because when the udder is full, just like when your bladder is full, you want to run to the toilet at night. So when they go inside there, they get relief. So after a while, they know that's where they get the relief. So they will run in. This machine extracts everything about the milk when it comes out, state of the art. So when the milk is flowing, it will measure everything. See how the milk is flowing? It will measure everything from the milk. The bacteria count, the protein, the fat, non-fat, everything is measured. And then all the vital status of the cow is also recorded. That's why we can put blockchain into it, because we can now capture enough data to say which batch of cows produced it. We can go one step back and say what was the cow's fat, so we can trace.
As you can see, the milk is flowing. And showing how much.
The number indicates how much milk actually flowed at this particular point in time.
Okay, see?
It's all automated, so the minute the pressure goes down, the thing will, certain cup release. And then the milk goes into the cooling chambers, the pasteurizing chamber, right down to the packaging plant. So from the place where it comes out, the cow udder, right down to this point, there's no human hand contamination. Okay? Now, I need to explain something a little bit after the video. Let me just forward this, okay? The problem here is this. The minute you take the milk out from the cow's udder, if within 20 minutes, if you don't chill it, according to Western standard, you must throw it away. In a country like India, and it's also the same in whether it's Malaysia or Indonesia or Thailand or Myanmar, is that sometimes this milk takes more than 12 hours or even 24 hours to get to the production facility. And if you look at the pictures, I don't have it on these slides here, of how they are transported, there's no coaching anywhere in there. Okay? So where the Western standard says the bacteria count must be less than 100,000 per ml of milk, if you want to process a milk, in a country like India, it is 8 to 9 billion bacteria count per ml. I want to say that again. The Western world says you must have less than 100,000 bacteria count per ml. The milk that the Indian plants process has 8 to 9 billion bacteria count per ml. And they process that. As a result, at the production facility, when they accept the milk, they check for two parameters: fat, non-fat, fat and solid non-fat. They call it SNF. The Western world tests for 13 different parameters: coliform count, bacteria count, whole salmonella count, everything. And the Indian plants don't bother to check anything else except two. Why? Because if they check, it will fail. Right? Now sometimes people say, it's okay, once the milk comes in, I pasteurize it, it's okay, it will be cured. The problem is 8 to 9 billion bacteria in that milk, 1 ml of milk. Even if you kill it, before you kill it, it's a living organism, it has eaten all the nutrition, all the protein. So that milk that is actually processed and sold to the people is devoid of all nutrition. And that is what the people are depending on. As a result, you get pretty stark statistics in India. Okay? India has got 50% of the world's malnourished kids live in India. All the malnourished children, the whole wide world, you put them together, 50% of them are living in India. It has got every day, it has got 3,000 children who are dying because of malnourishment. These are the issues. So that's why when we are tackling this, one of our principal goals is to actually donate 1,000 liters of milk per day. Okay? Now, the uniqueness about this farm is that we don't only integrate this. In any modern farm, if you take care of this aspect of animal husbandry and milk production, it's called an integrated farm. But ours is multi-directionally integrated, where we also take care of this. Why? Because today agriculture has got to be sustainable. Okay? In the World Economic Forum, one of the big things they talked about is that there will be shortage of food in the world. You got to feed about 9 billion people by 2050. Okay? And one of the ways in which we need to do that is by making agriculture a lot more efficient and also environmentally friendly, using lesser water and stuff like that. We are focused on that. Okay? One of the biggest arguments against any dairy farm in the whole wide world is that the cows produce too much methane. So in our case, we process all the manure and everything like that, we recycle everything back. We actually aim for a zero carbon emission. If you want to fly it by freight, 1 liter of milk is 1.1 kg, it will cost you more than $25. So you cannot get milk at $3. It will be about $25. Right? If it comes from Australia, if it's shipped across by container ship, it will take you more than 10 days to come. It won't be fresh anymore. Okay? That's the reason why all of us are only getting reconstituted powdered milk, and we get fooled into thinking that that's fresh milk. If you don't believe, go back and check all your package. Okay, it will say made from fresh milk. It is not fresh milk. Okay? So why we matter? This is what I was alluding to earlier. Okay, India tops world hunger list 194 million people. Right? India continues to struggle with. These are all some of the articles that came about malnourishment in India. This is not just my statistics. India has the largest number of malnourished children. If you look at the statistics carefully, it says 50% of malnourished children in the world live in India. Okay, about 37% of all under 5 children are underweight, 39% are stunted, 21% are kind of like deformed. Okay, there's a lot of statistics on this. The most devastating statistic is this: that 3,000 children actually die every day in India because of malnourishment. Now, what does it take for a kid to have? How much milk must a child drink every day? Just about 200 ml. So when we say we want to donate 1,000 as a start, we are talking about feeding 5,000 kids every day, and that will pretty much take care of the malnourishment side. That's a start. That's our goal. We'll do more, but we have this as a goal that wherever we set up, in every locality we set up a farm, we will do this. Okay, that's our goal, minimum. So that's it. Okay, I don't have too much more other statistics. All we have is we have got an ICO. If you want to find out more details and all that, please contact us. You can have my information. I don't want to bore the rest of you, not interested. If you are more traditionally inclined, we've also got bond offer, where we give between 15 to 25% return for a 4-year period, because all you're doing is helping us buy the cows. Because once we get the cows, we get the production up, 4 years later we can buy back the cows. Because the cows will give birth to more calves and it will allow us to get the full complement of it. But in return, because we are doing it so efficiently, we make use of, we get more revenue from the milk and more revenue from also the manure. We are able to give you a very high percentage of return. Okay, 25%, that's where we are at. Or if you want to come and partner with us, then you can buy an equity stake with us and we can talk about it. Okay, and we are looking for partners also to do similar kind of farms in Malaysia or Indonesia. Okay, that's where we are. Any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you so much.